What's up? What's up? Man, been a long day. Came down, helped my dad out with some things, trying to get his house built, and dropped off my oldest two kids to hang out with Pawpaw for a few days, kind of lighten the load at the house. Got work I have to do for my master's classes. That is a miserable thing to have happen to a fella in the summertime, but you got to do what you got to do. And just trying to keep up with everything that's going on in the world today. I didn't get to really listen to a whole lot of talk radio like I generally do, and just trying to reflect on what's got us to the point where we're at. It kind of feels it's surreal, really, the things that we've got going on in our country. I mean, we've got this COVID-19 thing going on, and everybody's worried about, should I wear a mask, should I not wear a mask? And I heard a really good explanation of why the mask isn't really that effective. And really, one of the main things that stood out to me was, you're not going to stop mosquitoes with a chain link fence. And a lot of these people that are really, really into science, and science is almost kind of like a religion to some of these folks. They're thinking that these masks are going to stop this little bitty virus, and most of the cloth masks, it's not going to work. And there's all these pictures showing, if you've got a mask on and somebody else doesn't, it reduces it by this, and if both people have a mask, it reduces it by this. And how do they really know that? Where are they really getting those statistics from? And the things that are really bothering me about this is that the numbers have been cooked to make it look like the problem is worse than what it is. And what I mean by that is, one, they're counting all kinds of death as being COVID-19 deaths. And another thing is, you've got these governors in New York, California, Michigan, and I believe there was a couple other states that were ordering COVID-19 patients into nursing homes. That's just insane. They knew pretty early on in this that it was going to impact elderly people at a higher rate and more severely than was going to impact younger people. Don't you guys remember how all the college kids were going on spring break, and they were talking about, it doesn't really affect young people and this and that and whatnot. Okay, so these governors knew that they were creating a situation where a lot of older people were going to die, and that's criminal. I mean, these governors should be going to jail, but they're not, because they're tied in with the power structure. And so everybody's wanting folks to wear masks, and are we going to have to wear masks in school and this and that and whatever? Hey, again, people are trying to solve problems by addressing effects, but not a root cause. And so when you do that, you end up creating more problems. So you end up creating situations where folks are getting pleurisy and having other breathing problems. I've been paying attention when I go through the grocery store, or when I go through a restaurant or something like that, and you see these people that are wearing masks. You guys look at their chest. They are working harder to breathe, and I don't know if that's just that they're nervous or whatever it is, but I didn't see people breathing at that rate prior to the whole mask hysteria. And again, the hysteria is based on the media's reporting of the things that are going on with this COVID-19, because the numbers just really aren't as severe as what they want to make it out to be. Folks, God gave us a really, really good filtration system that's worked for all of human history. And sure, people are going to get sick, people are going to die, but you're not going to make rational decisions when you're driven by the emotion of fear. And so people are scared to death that they're going to get this COVID-19 and that they're going to die. And I believe I probably had this back in February. It was miserable. Like, I coughed up blood for 3 days in the mornings. My chest was really heavy. My guts were queasy. Food didn't really have a taste. I could taste salt. I just drank a lot of water. I had a terrible cough. I felt like my head was going to explode. I was thinking, man, am I coughing hard enough to make me have a brain aneurysm? Like, it was not a fun sickness. And it really stole my mojo for a couple months after that. It honestly took spring starting to happen and temperatures starting to warm up, where I was able to get outside in the yard and do more yard work and things like that before I really started to like feel better. And I'm not discounting the seriousness of the illness, but I am wondering why the numbers are being manipulated the way that they are. If it's a serious illness, then it should just be able to stand on that on its own. And so it seems like certain people are more likely to buy into the hysteria than others. And man, the media has such an influence on people. And I ask this question regularly in some of the social media posts that I have, and I really don't get an answer from people. And it's, who pays the media? Well, if you don't know, the media generates revenue through their advertising dollars. Well, who advertises? It's these huge corporations. Well, who controls the huge corporations? It's their majority shareholders. Those are the people that have the pull over these corporations to get them to do the things that they want them to do. And we've got a serious problem with capitalism. And no, it's not that capitalism needs to go away. It's that people don't love their neighbor as they love themselves, so they're willing to value profit over people. You literally have very, very wealthy people who can't get enough that are creating problems or making problems more likely to occur just so that they can offer the solution and make more money later on. And an example of that, see, my father-in-law died. It's coming up on, it'll be 3 years this November, and he died from complications with diabetes. And one of the companies that produces insulin, the group that controls their majority shares also has millions of dollars in shares in the soda companies. Okay, well, if you look at your soda, it's got an ingredient called high fructose corn syrup, and you can look at all the studies that are out there about it, how it hinders the pancreas's ability to like function and produce insulin and do all the things that your pancreas does. So they're literally, with one of their diversified investments, they are selling a cheap crap product, which I've seen statistics that the number one thing that's sold to people that are on food stamps is soda. Okay, so this cheap crap soda is being pumped out into society, and people are unknowingly drinking it. They probably know that it's not good for them, but they don't really understand the full extent of it. And then, bam, you've got people that are becoming diabetic, and then who do they have to go to? They have to go to the same shareholders to get the medicine that they need to stay alive. And that's every time that people value profit over people, you give ideals like socialism and communism a footing to appeal to people. And really, that's how the whole battle has to be won. It has to be won with appeal and kindness. And it's hard to be kind when you're dealing with people that just can't see the light. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Like, there's a lot of people in this country that don't really understand what's going on. They want to say that it's this problem or that problem, this. But hey, truth of the matter is, all this stuff that people are putting out there these days, I shouldn't say all, I don't mean to speak in absolutes, but a lot of the problems, they're solutions to the effects, but not the cause. And the root cause is that people just don't have a solid foundation for their perspective. People aren't seeing reality the right way, okay? And I've heard a lot of people, well, your reality is different from somebody else's reality, and this, yeah, there's relative parts of reality, and there's absolute parts of reality. Absolute reality is that every single one of us is here on planet Earth, okay? and then it varies from person to person. The sun for every single person on this planet is going to start out in the eastern sky and it's going to end in the western sky. Okay, those are absolutes for every single person on this planet. Okay, so there are absolutes, and the thing that I want people to do is to take a really hard look at the evidence supporting the legitimacy of Christianity. Okay, don't judge the standard based on imperfect people who have failed to uphold that standard. Nobody has upheld that standard except for Jesus Christ. That's the only person in all of human history that lived a perfect life. And there's going to be people, well, how do you know that? How do you know this? Hey, look at the historical evidence. Go look up the account of Tacitus on Christ. What did those people in immense multitudes witness firsthand that led them to where they would not deny Christ when facing the most horrendous forms of torture that you could ever experience, being lit on fire to be lamps in the gardens of Rome, tied to posts and fed to wild animals, and to be crucified themselves? Okay, if we do not start addressing the root cause, which is people's collective positioning on the foundation of reality, then we're going to be continuing to see a downward spiral where solutions to the effects are offered, but we're never addressing the root cause. We've got to address origins and morality, and I really hope that more people will get behind a strong push to make it so that we can have a national discussion on origins and morality. Make it a nationally televised series of debates. Bring out the best of the best atheist minds, the best Buddhist minds, the best Christian minds, the best Muslim minds, whoever wants to take a part. And let's do this. Let's have it where millions and millions of people will view it, and let's come to an agreement based on the evidence that is at hand. I am totally confident that the evidence in support of Christianity will stand up to all challengers. And so that's what I want people to start talking about. Let's get that put in the discussion, that we have got to write our position collectively on the moral foundation of humanity if we're ever going to right this ship and get it going in a direction that's fruitful for everybody. God bless. Have a nice day.